the few pages I'm about to read. When I said yesterday that it's paramount that we limit ourselves, I meant precisely that is the task of each of one of us to analyze only the books he or she has chosen and not seek the connections between them. When the beginner reads this book, this Rosenzweig for Beginners book, he can look for the connections between the parts himself, including connections with your or our text that can be found elsewhere. Again, our task is to describe or translate, if you want, what Rosenzweig has written in the particular books we are presenting. Here are my few pages, which I can easily turn into 15 pages, as well as my response to what this book we are putting together should look like. It is a book the beginner reaches for when she or he already has the Stern in hand. The beginner is de facto never a beginner. The beginner will, like any beginner, err and first buy the Stern, but only became the beginner when buying Rosenzweig für Anfänger. And then he is no longer a beginner. It is too late, or she or he has been infected. Let me remind you what is in this book that I am reading. The first book of this third part of Stern has 5 paragraphs or margin marks from 313 to 363, or an even length, although none longer than 2 pages. The book opens with the paragraph Die Verheißung der Ewigkeit, 313, and closes with die Ewigkeit und Verheißung 363. First, let me carefully and in detail list the main points thematized by Rosenzweig in this book and a quick reminder of the content of the book. Following that, I will ask you to discuss probably just few places. This is a book of differences, of polarities, and of contradictions that mark, perhaps we ought to say, shake, disturb the chosen elected people. The decisive difference between the people of the world, of unity of the Spirit, of community of the Spirit, and the Jewish people, community or unity of blood, is determined based on a fire or eternal life, Feuer, oder, das ewige Leben. Eternal life is determined in the opening paragraph as generation and regeneration, das Bezeugen geschieht in Erzeugen, 3:13. In the following paragraph, 3:15, Blut und Geist, the Wir is thematized anew. We could say that Rosenzweig is foremost the thinker of Wir, or the thinker of Wir allein, that he thinks the borders of this Wir and the crossing of these borders. Paragraph 3:15 ends like this: Die Blutsgemeinschaft allein solcher Anstalten der Überlieferung nicht. Sie braucht den Geist nicht zu bemühen. In paragraphs 3:16 until 3:23, it is the first unit of this book marked 3:14, das ewige Volk, jüdische Schicksal. The thematization of blood is what opposes itself to earth, to soil, to territory. Further, the relationship between language and sacred language, as well as chronology, the calculation of time, and the holy law. Ewige Volk is the eternal traveler in exile without his own language, always using the language of the territory on which he finds himself. Das jüdische Volk mit den Sprachen, die es spricht, nie mehr ganz zusammen. It's 3:19. The ending of paragraph 3:21 is complicated by the presence by an attribute that I'm unaware of in another place in Rosenzweig. Else it is a paraphrase of Goethe or perhaps Wagner. In Schöpfen, this is the quotation, in Schöpfen der eigenen Ewigkeit aus den dunkeln Quellen des Bluts. Dunkel. probably Kaspar knows that white dunkel. This unit of the first unit of this book ends with the sharp differentiation of we, they, in paragraph 322. They love, the love of the people of the world towards their nation. In general, they sweety love, sugary love, saccharine love is always related to death. That, it's a paragraph 322. Death is at the base of that sweetness. As opposed to them, continues Rosenzweig, our lives are not determined by any kind of exteriority. This paragraph ends triumphantly, and triumph is always the discovery of the difference and foundation of us, of ours, the founding of wir allein. Und diese Verwurzelung in uns selbst und allein in uns selbst verbürgt uns unsere Ewigkeit. The second unit of the book is marked with 323, das eine Volk, jüdisches Wesen, and begins with the question that closes the first unit. Was bedeutet das aber Verwurzelung in eigenen Selbst? The second unit has 6 short paragraphs, 324 to 329, and explores complicated contradictions in the chosen people or elected people, and implicitly soften the differences with the people of the world. Wie als jüdischer Mensch von seinem Gott tritt, eine Herberge von Widersprüchen. 327. Wir become significantly less stable by the end of this book. That means roots, identity, essence, totality, externality in paragraph 324, as well as the inspired passage about the border that always has 2 sides, about the borders that should be incorporated into the self, etc., all Hegelian in theme and way of presentation. Of course, Rosenzweig is completely aware of this because he ends this unit with this position. Aber das lebendige Leben fragt ja nicht nach den Wesen. Es lebt. It's a 329. It seems to me that the appearance of the Messiah for the first time in this book, in paragraph 327, the jüdische Mensch, opens a particular dilemma that could de facto place this second unit of the first book in opposition to paragraph 22 and the sharp opposition between wir allein, and the people of the world. In it, God does not only knows us, das Gott noch andere kennt, ergo, the peoples of the world are also God's people. Und dass Gott auch zu Ägypten und Assur spricht, mein Volk. It's a 327. The third unit of the book, marked with a 330, das heilige Volk, das jüdische Jahr, in the largest stretching to 352 paragraphs. Apart from a detailed analysis of the Shabbat and a few of the most important holidays, Rosenzweig uses 3 sociological phenomena to construct his theory of the community. Paragraph 331 is entitled Soziologie der Menge, das Hören, and thematizes the importance of the text in constructing a community. Paragraph 340, Soziologie der Gemeinschaft, das Mahl, is certainly singular in its originality, and paragraph 345, Soziologie des Ganzen, der Gruß, where I think for the first time the supreme community, die höchste Gemeinschaft, is thematized. The last 4th unit of this book is marked 352, Die Völker der Welt, Messianische Politik, and has 10 paragraphs. It is completely original, and for the first time in the history of Messianism, Messianische Politik has a title formulated like this, and as such represents a prolegomena for a messianic action. Paragraph 353 constructs the difference between Stoß und Zug, meaning it shows us what is messianic time and how redemption is written in the future of the people. Theories of politics and war, differences between wars of the people of the world and the elected people, holy war, world peace, the Jew as the only authentic pacifist, along with the scare quotes around the world pacifist. These are the main themes of paragraphs 354 until 358. The last 4 paragraphs are devoted to the state revolution, or more precisely, the fatal connection that would mark that century and the one in which we continue to live, the relation between violence and right. Perhaps 361, about old and new right, written at the same time as to critique the Gewalt, shows precision that surpasses Benjamin. Thank you.